Hello, everybody.
I see Ms. Sevener here. Do we have Mr. Corby with us as well?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Corby, I'm going to need to see your video if you would, please.
I went to the www.zoom.com website and I downloaded the link for the Zoom and I kept clicking join and it wouldn't do it. So I just hurried up and made the phone call so I didn't miss anything.
All right. Well, let me find this case and we'll get started on it then. This is...
I couldn't get it to work for me the last time I tried either, but.
All right. This is the matter of Lindsay Sevener, 14-15238-DP. We are here on plaintiff's objection to, plaintiff is Mr. Corby, his objection to the child support recommendation. Mr. Corby, I've received your one-page, I've received your objection to the child support review. It contains an addendum. I've read all of those, so go ahead and argue your objection, sir.
I just, like it says in my form, I've had full physical custody of my son for 11 years now, and I've paid for all of his medical expenses, dental expenses, sports utility, anything he's ever needed. And, and recently we switched to 50-50 custody and everything's been fine. And throughout the years, I've got minimal child support. I was getting around $125 a month, and I was paying $500 in daycare expenses for the 10 years that, I had the full custody and before he was 12. And, and I just assumed that once we went to 50-50 custody, that there wouldn't be any child support because I
know what they say about assumptions, right?
Right. But me and my wife just spent $6,000 for my son's braces and everything else. And I just seems like, we've put in a lot over these years, and for my son to be 13 and now to pay $391 a month just seems like a lot, I guess.
I'm not disputing anything that you've told me. However, I'm only allowed to make changes to things where there's a legal objection. So the only question that I have before me is, did the friend of the court accurately run the child support formula guidelines? And is there some number that they used that was inappropriate? I can't rectify past inequities. I can't change what happened in the past. So I apologize to you for that. I know that it seems in a world of fairness that might be a great argument, but all I can do is look at what is the current set of facts, set of circumstances. Did the friend of the court's office properly apply the formula? And if so, I have to go with that. That's what the law requires me to do. So the fact that you've made all of those payments, I'm taking as absolute truth, but I can't do anything about that. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So go ahead. Okay. Any other arguments that you wish to make?
And me and my wife are, we're also homeowners. So, we have home taxes and home expenses. And, after this winter, we're going to have to probably put a new roof on after the ice damage and everything else. It just seems like being homeowners and everything else, we have a lot more expenses maintaining a home than income-based apartment building, where my electricity is paid for and stuff like that, I guess.
Well, the electricity is paid for by the rental. That's all in the costs. So the law doesn't let me say you get so much deductions for certain expenses. It's based on what your income is from both families, both sides of the equation. And as long as the income information is, we don't tell you what kind of house that you have to buy. If you want to go out and buy a very small, tiny house and live in that, that's entirely up to you. If you want to buy a mansion, that's entirely up to you. How you use that income is entirely up to you, and I can't get into changing that. So I recognize that what you're telling me is true, but again, I'm limited in the law by what I can effectively change. And so the question is, did the friend of the court use the guidelines appropriately? And the amount of expenses that you have is not one of those things that they have the ability to view or change.
Okay. Yeah, I guess, and I guess the only thing I can dispute about the income is that in the beginning of December, my son told me that his grandma moved in to Miss Ebner's house. So I feel like that's a change of income. And
The income, the only applicable income is the income of the two parents. It's not
okay.
it's not the household income. Like if you had someone, a friend of yours or a cousin or someone that made a lot of money move into your home, I could not add their income to yours.
Right. But I mean, Miss Sevner could increase her own income by rejoining the workforce. And, you know, and
I can certainly ask the friend of the I can ask the friend of the court what they use for that. I see a number down here as a gross income, and I believe that was imputed to her, or was so. But I'll ask the friend of the court, Ms. Ellison. Who should I talk to about that?
That would be me, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Kraus, can you tell me the income that was used for Ms. Sevner, the $1,417 a month? Where did that figure come from?
From Social Security.
And is that the equivalent of full-time work, or is there a process by which we could add to that for imputation up to full-time work?
If she has the ability to earn additional income because it's SSDI, she would, but we are not aware if she is able to work at any capacity outside of what she's earning now with that.
All right, so because she's on SSI, she is deemed to be disabled and not able to work, so that you are not able to impute any additional funds. Is that what you're telling me?
Unless she can indicate to us that she is able to earn an additional amount without losing those benefits.
All right, Mr. Corby, does that answer your question?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, any other objections that you have, sir?
Nope. Nope, not really. I guess none of my arguments really make any, don't have any credible dispute, I guess. So.
Yeah, and I understand your frustration, and I understand where you're coming from, but unfortunately, with this sort of situation, I am limited in what I can do for you. And unfortunately, none of the arguments that you bring forward are going to change what the recommendation is. So I'm going to have to deny your arguments, and we'll go forward with the amount as recommended. If something changes in the future, or if you get additional information, you can always bring that for us again.
Well, and I was just curious. So, do I still have full physical custody of my son?
That has not changed. The child support does not change custody. So all we're here today on is the child support.
Okay. And
so
as far as my son gets a percentage of Miss Sevner's disability amount, and it goes directly into a savings account for him. Is that going to stop for him, or is that?
Nope, that doesn't. This does not change that.
Okay. Okay. I was just curious.
All right. Anything else, sir?
Nope. That pretty much sums it up.
All right. The friend of the court will enter an order. Help me out, Ms. Krause, if I'm incorrect, but the friend of the court will enter an order indicating that the objection has been denied and that the child support amount as recommended will become the order of the court.
Correct.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Corby. That's all for today then.
All right. Thank you.
See Ms. Hornstra is with us. Is Nicholas Fust here as well?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Could I have you turn on your video, please?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Let me find this case. This is Nicholas Fust, which is file 22-18992-DP. I see Ms. Hornstra is here. Mr. Fust is here. This appears to be a request from the friend of the court to show cause. It's like the last payment was made in June of 2024. The defendant failed to appear in January of 25 for a show cause hearing. And the hearing today is to address his failure to comply with the support enforcement order of October, his non-compliance with that, and the 60 days of jail that have been held in abeyance since October 21 of 2024. So Mr. Fust, tell me what you've been doing and why you haven't been making your payments.
I haven't been able to work. My felony is getting in the way.
What stops you from going to McDonald's or Burger King or a gas station or any of those places?
I've applied to everywhere around here. In Gaylord, nobody wants to hire me.
I know of lots of felons. I'm the district court judge. I have felons that appear in front of me all of the time to tell me that they're employed.
This is due to family relations back when I was a kid, and also everybody in this town knows my family.
When was the last time you were employed?
I had to move from finding a job in Otsego County to find one in East Tawas. My last job was Webb's Well Drilling, and that was out of East Tawas.
That tells me where you worked, but not when you worked.
That was back in the summer, fall, before October.
Okay. How are you supporting yourself now?
I'm not. I get food stamps and working with DHS. And I have cases coming up within the next month or so. And at this moment, due to sentencing's April 7th, it's pointless to even work.
What's the sentencing on April 7th for?
East Tawas for a B&E.
So you're not working, but you're committing crimes?
No. This was while I was at work and I'm fighting it.
You just told me you got a
This is the first offense in like 10, 11 years, other than child support stuff.
Well, Mr. Fuse, the order that was entered in this case back on October the 21st of 2024 found you in contempt and sentenced you to 30 days in jail, consecutive to the 15-day jail sentence, and then held an additional 60 days of jail in abeyance, meaning that you've already been sentenced for contempt to go to jail for 60 days, and that's being held pending your performance, and that means your payment of your child support amounts. So since October of 24, have you made any payments?
No, I have not, because I have not been making any money income.
So you are able-bodied, and you last worked at a well drilling place. What stopped you from going back to the well drilling place?
I got arrested at the job for child support, so they fired me. Same with my other
to another one.
Same with the other 4 jobs that I got fired from.
Every job
I get arrested in. I'm sorry for interrupting, Your Honor.
What stops you from finding another similar job?
I'm putting applications in on Indeed. I'm filling out applications online, and nobody's getting back with me. Every time I call, they say job's been filled, not hiring anyone at the moment. Other people say your felony is too extreme for us to hire you. And then right now, with sentencing coming up, I just deemed it not viable to work right now because I'm only a couple weeks away. And if I get a job before the sentencing, it's just going to be pointless. I won't get a paycheck before sentencing. So
you basically decided not to try to get a job because you're going to go to jail in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. Then you're going to go to jail
I'm going to be in
today.
another county.
Then you're going to go to jail today because you've decided to not work, because that's what you've been ordered to already do. You got 60 days of jail pending against you now if you're not going to pay. So you've decided not to pay, so you're going to jail. You understand that?
I got applications filled out. I got like 50 applications filled out in the past week, and nobody's getting back with me. Nobody wants to hire me because of
You've already told me twice, Mr. Fuse, you've already told me twice that you've decided not to do anything for the next 2 weeks because you're going to jail. So it doesn't make any sense for you to try to get a job.
To a point, it is kind of pointless. I won't get to see the paycheck.
Neither
How
will
am I
your
going to
children.
pay it if I'm...
I didn't say this was going to be easy for you. I just said that there's a responsibility to pay, period. It doesn't matter if it's easy or not. It doesn't matter if it makes a lot of sense or not. It's just a requirement. It's not an optional thing for you to say, I'm not going to do it because it doesn't make any sense to me. It's a duty to pay it. And since you've not done it, since you have the ability as an able-bodied person to get some level of work, I'm going to put you in jail. You can report to the Otsego County Jail at 6 p.m. tonight. You'll serve these 60 days there. You'll get credit for, I'm assuming you'll get credit on the next sentence that you get. That's up to that court to deal with that, but you're going to do the 60 days jail here. Once you're released, this requirement for payment still is in existence. It doesn't change. You have to make your payments, which means you need to find a job. It doesn't matter what kind of job it is, as long as you're making a job and paying something, then you stay out of jail. But if you're not going to do anything, you're going to stay in jail. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
I got a question, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
I how would I go about putting stuff to courts? Like
I
paperwork
don't
and stuff,
understand what your question is. Be more specific, please. What do you
like
want to do?
motions and stuff. Would I have
You
to
mail
fill that
them?
out at the clerk's office?
You don't have to. You can mail whatever documentation you want. Online, there are forms that you can use for most of the normal types of cases. If you can't get that online, you could go to either the friend of the court or the clerk's office and ask if they have a form for what you're trying to do. And if not, you can simply write a letter and explain what it is that you want to do and send that in and see what happens.
Okay.
You have any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right. If you fail to show up at the jail, there will be a bench warrant for your arrest and the police will come looking for you. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you have 60 days of jail. Report to the Otsego County Jail, 6 p.m. tonight.
Your
Good luck,
Honor,
sir. Yes.
would it also be appropriate to add upon his release, he can contact the friend of the court moving forward in case he's able to submit job searches and so forth to continue to be compliant with his support orders?
I think that's a good idea. How many job applications per week do you suggest, Ms. Kraus?
Well, he's indicated that he's submitted at least 50 or 60, so I would think 25 a week.
Mr. Fust, can you do that?
Yeah, I can do that. I can also submit all these jobs that I've applied to that
Just moving
nobody
forward would be
wants to hire me
appropriate
for.
upon release.
Yep. All you need to do is 25 a week, 25 new ones for each week. Moving forward, that lets the friend of the court know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and they don't have to think about whether or not you need to go to jail. So they don't. So that keeps you showing that you're making a good faith effort to make your payments. As long as you're doing that, you're okay with the friend of the court and okay with the court. You understand all of that?
Yeah.
So upon release, 25 job applications a week to the friend of the court. All right. Do you understand what you need to do, Mr. Fust?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. That'll be the order of the court. Thank you.
Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.